Welcome back. Well, if you are wondering how to encourage your kids to pry their eyes away from a screen and get involved in their communities, this is for you. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor is out with a beautiful new picture book. It's called Just Help: How to Build a Better World. It's available in English and in Spanish, and it is filled with ways that kids of all ages can help their friends and their neighbors in big ways and small ways. And Justice Sotomayor joins us now. Good morning, Madam Justice. It's nice to see you.
Good morning, Savannah. It's wonderful to be here with you today.
Well, I really loved paging through this book and then learning that it was inspired by your own mom. I know she passed away recently. What do you think she would have thought about this tribute to her?
Oh, she would have been just delighted. I was just exchanging emails with a friend this morning, and they were congratulating me on the new book and telling me how pleased Mom would be. And I wrote back, this morning Mom would have gotten up with a big smile and waited to see me on television. And I know she's doing that right now.
Oh, no question about it. And the illustrations, which is how I first judge any children's book as a mom myself, you got to have good pictures. They're adorable. We see Mommy and we see little Sonia. And your mom in this book, she asks a question of little Sonia every day: how will you help today? Why did you think that was a good idea for a children's book?
Well, you know, people think about civic participation as being just limited to being elected a government official of some kind, like the president does public service, or maybe the people who go into the military do public service. I don't think that kids, and many adults, don't realize that public service is not just those big acts of getting elected and making changes that way, but it's the little things that each of us does every day to improve our communities. And so for me, Mom's question always reminded me that things don't happen just because. They happen because each of us purposely acts. Each of us thinks about ways every day of improving the world.
And we're seeing,
or that's what we should do.
We're seeing images from the book, and I remember years ago, Justice Sotomayor, we walked together in your old neighborhood in the Bronx when your memoir came out, and once again, that neighborhood feels like a character in this book too. It's about that community. It's a love story for that community, but also just for community in general, teaching kids about caring for the place around them in little ways and in big ways.
Yes, small steps and big steps. I don't know how many of you remember Neil Armstrong when he landed on the moon. He said, that's one step for man and a giant leap for mankind. Changes in the world don't happen always in giant leaps. It takes every one of us purposely looking at the world around us and saying, how do I make it better today? What can I do to improve things? And if we each did that, we would be living in a better world.
Well, I know that you are not permitted to discuss any case or controversy before the Supreme Court in this interview, and I'm not even going to try it. But let me ask you this, just generally. There is concern that the court as an institution, its credibility has been falling. A recent Gallup poll found that just 54% of Americans have a great deal or a fair amount of trust in the court. How much do you worry about that, the court as an institution, and how the public sees it?
I think all of us worry about that. We think about ways in which we can comport ourselves among ourselves to ensure that the public has confidence in what we're doing. I do need to discuss this a little bit with the public to assure them that one of the hardest things about our work is that there are no easy answers. Reasonable people can disagree. In fact, we only take cases when there are circuit splits. I shouldn't say only, but largely, most of our case docket is when the courts below have disagreed. And because of that, obviously, just as the larger society disagrees about the answers to some of our problems, so does the court. And if you bear that in mind, perhaps the public can be more accepting of the kind of work we do.
And finally, I noted that this is your 4th children's book, and I had to laugh because I've read a few court opinions, and you've written a few court opinions. That's pretty dense writing. Is there something about writing children's book that's kind of a relief?
Absolutely. It's wonderful. I have to tell you, it's somehow harder to write a children's book than an adult book, because in a children's book, you have to think about every word. You are limited to 1,800, 1,900 words. And every word has to mean something and has to convey an image to a child that they can see clearly in their own minds. And for that reason, it's a harder book to write. It's harder to be concise than to just keep writing what one's thinking.
I thought you were going to say writing a children's book is harder than a Supreme Court opinion, but I could see that. I know you love to go out on book tour and hug the kids. You've been doing virtual tour, but hopefully you'll get out on the road again soon. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Savannah.
And again, the book is called Just Help. You can find out more about it on our website, today.com/shop.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.